In this video, I want to talk about the Nike Invincible 3, and I've got a lot of thoughts. The Nike Invincible 3 launched earlier this year in February 2023, retailing at 170 British pounds, 180 US dollars. I picked up a pair a few weeks ago for 125 pounds in a Nike sale. So just a bit of background of my history with the Invincible range. May 2022, I got the Invincible 1, predominantly as a shoe to help me come back after a non-running related Achilles injury. Ultra cushioned shoe was quite attractive to get me back into running. I was finding that my original shoe, the Nike Structure, of which I'd been wearing various incarnations of since 2017, was a little bit too firm, causing me issues when I was rehabbing, trying to get back into running. So I wanted to experience an ultra cushioned shoe that would soften the blow somewhat and help me get back into the sport of running. Over the year of wearing it, firstly, it was getting used to the shoe. It was very different to anything that I'd felt before on my feet. It felt like a moon shoe the first time I tried it on with this ultra cushioned sole. It's very wide, so it had a very different stance and feel, and you felt a lot higher off the ground than with something like the Nike Structure. But over the course of a year, I built my confidence in the shoe. I found that the energy return that the Invincible gave me meant I was able to run at a faster pace for longer because of the kind of energy return that it was putting into my legs. So across the year of wearing it, I've managed to set new PBs in 5K, 10K and half marathon races, all wearing the Invincible 1 shoe. Some of those PBs have been in place since 2015, so I've found it a really transformative shoe. Going into getting a 3, I was quite excited to try the new version of the shoe because I'd had such success with the 1. Let's talk some more about the Invincible 3. I'll start by saying the Invincible 3 is the best looking running shoe I've ever owned. Having started out in motion control shoes and then stability shoes, design always felt like a bit of an afterthought. Similar was true of the Invincible 1. They stood out, but not necessarily in the good looks department. With the Invincible 3, I feel like the design team at Nike has really given them some time of day. The white and university red model I think looks fantastic. The midsole is pretty striking with its scallop ZoomX foam, rather large black badge on the medial side. The Flyknit upper feels light with no inner liner, which was present on earlier models. The tongue is still cushioned, but not as much as on the version 1 and 2, and the collar and heel tab on the 3 is more rigid and less cushioned than on earlier versions, with a completely different structure on the heel compared to previous versions. The sole and tread of the 3 has changed slightly from previous versions, with more of the midsole foam visible at the base of the trainer due to some cutouts in the rubber, which is likely to save some weight of the shoe, which means it's all a bit of a surprise when I weighed the shoes. The Invincible 3 looks like a lighter shoe, feels like a lighter shoe, but it's significantly heavier than the 1 and the 2. I am a UK 13. The Invincible 3 weighed in at 403 grams compared to 371 grams for the Invincible 1, which is a massive difference of 33 grams. Moving on to the fit and feel of the shoe. Compared to the version 1, the Invincible 3 is a firmer feeling shoe on the foot. There's now a strobel lining between the insole and the midsole, which wasn't present on the version 1 and version 2, and this has definitely reduced that hyper cushioned feeling that you got in the earlier shoes. You only have to press your thumb into the midsole on both versions of the shoe to get a sense of how differently they're going to feel on the foot. On the foot, the Invincible 3 feels larger and less secure than the version 1. I can comfortably put my index finger behind my heel in the 3s due to their far less padded collar, which wasn't the case on earlier versions. To increase confidence in the fit, I've opted to lace lock the Invincible 3s to reduce heel slippage, which I never had to do on the 1s. My arch also feels far less supported in the 3s than in the 1s, feeling like it's bulging over the side of the midsole. That's not to the levels that I felt when I tried on some Vaporflies a few months ago, but coming from a structured shoe, it was definitely a concern. The thinner feeling Flyknit upper has perhaps sacrificed a bit of that structure that came with past versions, but all that being said, I was still quite excited to start putting in some kilometers in the shoes. Talking about the performance of the shoe, I've run about 50k in the threes so far across 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, and half marathon distance. And so far, I've felt they feel as responsive and as fast as the ones. You can see in this slowed down footage how the Zoom X foam compresses and returns their energy with each step, which was similar with the ones. Compare that to a more traditional running shoe, in this example, a Nike Structure. You can see there's very little compression in the midsole, so I find that responsiveness makes the Invincible range a fast shoe. But unfortunately, at the moment, that's where the good news ends with the Invincible 3s. All of my runs in them so far have resulted in issues. On most runs I've done in them, I get pain in the top of my feet where the tongue meets the vamp of the shoe, which is the bit that covers the top of your toes. Reaching inside the shoe, the finish on the 3 is far less finessed than on the version 1. There's quite a lot of excess rough fabric at the end of the tongue, creating the potential for hot spots, which is what I've experienced with some friction, which has occurred on the majority of my runs. A second issue with the shoe I've experienced comes from the reduced level of arch support that I've already spoken about in the 3s. It's been less of an issue across shorter distances, so 5k, but in longer runs like 10k and half marathons, I've got to the end of the runs with friction related pain in my arches, which has been really close to blistering and has also taken a few days to recover. I didn't have any issues like that with the Invincible ones, no hot spots or blistering, so I've lost the confidence to run in the 3s already, given they're the most expensive trainers that I've bought. Unfortunately, they are going back to Nike and I'm going to be sticking with the version 1s. So over to you. What do you think? Have you had a similar experience with the Invincible 3s, or have you found them to be an enjoyable trainer? Let me know in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe for more running content, and I will see you next time. See ya.